you read the title right. We're animating again. Yep, animating. Didn't think I'd be here again, but here we are. And this time around, I decided to make this video a little special because today I'll be animating you guys into my animation meme, and this is actually a two-parter. Not only am I going to animate your OCs, I'm going to draw them, fully render them, and then animate them, make them move. And did I mention I'm doing this in an entirely new program? So let's go. Also, I realized I never mentioned the name of the app I'm animating in. It's ToonSquid, guys. If you're wondering where I'm picking your OCs/personas from, I'm picking them from my Discord server. Speaking of Discord, I think it's time to spread a little chaos in the comments. Okay, here's the plan, guys. You all have to pretend like I did something shocking. Comment something like, Aka, I can't believe you did this. Or, how could you, Aka? How could you? Or, I don't know, something like that. You get the gist, right? Imagine random viewers. They're gonna scroll through the comment section all confused, and they'll be like, what happened to Aka, guys? What happened? Like every project, I like to plan things out before diving headfirst into anything, especially when I'm dealing with animation, because let's be real, there's not a lot going on in my brain, okay? So immediately, I got into planning. Considering I was doing a full-blown animation and a fully rendered piece for two of these special people, I decided to dump all my notes into Milanote, who are also sponsoring today's video. If you're not familiar, Milanote is actually a free-form canvas to organize your creative project. You can add notes, images, links, to-do lists, audio files, and a lot more. It's nice having everything in one place, you know, it really helps me keep things organized. After some pondering, I decided to animate this recent, well, not really recent, animation meme that's been going around. I thought it'd be a really fun challenge. The song is by BBNO$. I don't know if you've heard of it. Probably have. I can't play it because copyright restricted, but yeah, after that, I started drafting my drawings on Milanote. I've been playing around with these color combos. I really like using these color pads just to experiment and see what clicks. I love how easy it is to move things around and drag and drop everything. Very satisfying. I'm thinking of adding their OCs around the last few scenes of the animation/animatic, just to make things easier timing-wise, but also they get a good amount of screen time. I really want to include more people if I have the time, but we'll see how it goes. I'm in a bit of a time crunch right now, so I'm trying to be realistic. I like to take these little notes and checklists of things I find really good and things I'd like to include in the animation so I don't forget them. I have the memory of a goldfish. I think anyone in my Discord server knows that, but yeah. And of course, we're not only doing an animation, we're doing a fully rendered piece. So I made an entire separate board for that too. References, pose ideas, composition, all in one place. I was thinking of something Y2K, something vibrant, them staring into the camera or something. We'll figure it out. And this little doodle tool helped me sketch out quick poses and random screenshots straight from my head. And if you're not aware, this is actually an inbuilt template for Milanote. They actually have a ton of other templates, like, whoa, what is this? And if you ever want to share your boards with other people, you can always do that and invite people to your boards to work together or gather feedback on your personal projects. And again, the app I'm using is Milanote, and it's actually free with no time limit whatsoever, which I think is pretty cool. So if you want to go and check it out, I have a link in the description and in the pinned comments where you can sign up for free. Initial plan was to include two of your OCs in my animation meme, but later down the line, I thought to myself, no, I have to do so much better. If this video is meant to be dedicated to you guys, my fans, then I have to do so much better. So I made a promise, a goal, a priority to include at least 10 of you guys in my animatic meme. So yeah, I don't care how long it takes. Maybe I'll hate myself for it. It'll be worth it. If you watched my last video where I learned to animate, I used Flip-a-Clip. And Flip-a-Clip is basically only for frame-by-frame animation, meaning you have to draw each frame individually, which is incredibly painful. But this time, instead of drawing each frame individually, we're gonna do something called keyframing. And this was an entirely new concept I had to learn, but it was actually really easy, and I'll show you. Now, before we start, what is keyframe animation? And how does it differ from your normal frame-by-frame animation? Keyframe animation is basically where you only draw the important poses, the starting point, and the end point. Now, instead of drawing the in-between frames like you'd normally do, the software actually fills the in-betweens for you, so it's kind of an easier way of animating. Since we already made our storyboard, animating this became really easy. I knew for the first bit that I wanted my character to slide into frame and for the camera to zoom in on her. For my workflow, I decided to draw all my frames on ibispaint and then import them onto ToonSquid so I could animate them. The reason why I'm choosing to draw my frames on ibispaint is because later I'm going to be separating some bits of my character. Example like the arms, the hair, they're going to be on separate layers for this animation. So I started drawing my frames on ibispaint. And again, we're going with this lineless art style. I really like how my character looks in this style. For the first few frames, I wanted my character to look down at the floor while she slides into frame. So looking like this. And then I'm gonna import this onto ToonSquid. As you can see here, these diamond looking things are actually the keyframe. We're gonna use this drawing for the first 2 seconds of this animatic. We're gonna make a keyframe over here and make the starting point outside the canvas, and then the end point, they're gonna end up in the middle of our screen over here. I want them to overshoot the end point a bit and then slide back in. To us, we can see the entire outer canvas, but in the actual animation, this is what shows up. ToonSquid is pretty cool, isn't it? As you can see here for the next few scenes, the camera zooms in on my persona and she puts on these shades. Now, for this scene, I have the hands and shades separated on different layers. I made sure to do this first on ibispaint so then I could import them individually. Now, I wanted my character to bounce on the beat, so I added a little keyframe over here and I squashed a little frame over here to give it that little bounce up effect. I like to use this transform tool. It actually feels really nice and I like how it stretches and squashes the characters. Also, these arms look like they're 2 different drawings, but they're actually just the same arm, just like squashed. I think the best thing about ToonSquid is how adaptable it is. If you ever want to change the timing between your keyframes, you can always do that, and the program does it automatically, which is really cool. It has a very easy drag and drop system. If you want your frames to last longer, drag it down. They also have a lot of keyframe settings, like look at this, position, scale, and way more. Very extensive. They also have these features dedicated to rigging, which is why this video is split into 2 parts. I want to try these features out, okay? There are so many features on this app. I just want to experiment. Now for the next few scenes, they are going to be repeating 3 times in this entire animatic. So I thought it'd be a good idea to sneak people's OCs in these segments. I wanted to show some appreciation to my mods in my Discord server, so I hid a few of them as Easter eggs. I wonder if you can recognize them. And I decided to put my Discord admins at the beginning of the animatic. They've actually been following me for a really long time. Nori here has been following me since before I had YouTube. If you didn't know, I started off on Instagram and then I moved on to YouTube. And Wasabi came along when I had around 10k subscribers. I just wanted to draw them as a big fat thank you because managing 4,000 people is not easy, guys. It's crazy to think about that probably some of you have stuck around since 50k or 10k or maybe when I was at 100 subs. And now we're closing into 100k, which is crazy, honestly. I never thought I'd be here, but I've had the greatest pleasure getting to know all of you in my community. And I hope this video serves as a nice gift from me to you as a thank you for sticking around. Now for this next scene, I wanted my character to spin around and then it'll transition to one of your OCs. Now this was a pretty easy transition to do. All I had to do was turn my character around and then switch it out for an OC of yours. I decided to pick this one from DG. And then I'd figured after that he'll slide to the side, revealing another one of your OCs. And I picked this one by Tyler. I feel like the animation for this bit was pretty easy to do, but as you can see here, I separated the arms and the shades from DG's character. I wanted him to hold his shades up while bopping to the beat of the song. I decided I would animate his torso first, just to make sure it syncs up with the beats of the song whenever he bops his head. All I really did here was similar to what I did with my character. I just squashed and stretched him. I also wanted him to lip sync to the lyrics, but we'll do that later. After I got the timing down for the torso, I moved on to animating the arm. All I had to really do was make sure it synced up with the torso, so it was pretty straightforward. For Tyler's persona, I decided to keep it a bit simple. When the camera pans in, I want them to shift to the right, just ever so slightly. Now, the only tools I'm really using for animating are the keyframe panels, the transform tool, the text tool, and probably these effects. Honestly, the transform tool is just useful for most cases. You can use it to resize things, squash and stretch things. It's very useful for transitions. And I very much like this camera feature. It makes animating so much fun. I loved playing with the camera movements and everything. I think it gives the animation a nice touch. Now this next scene was a ton of fun to animate. Initially, the scene was supposed to be just me holding out my pom-poms and just cheering, but I decided to switch my persona out with 2 of these beautiful OCs. I honestly had a ton of fun animating this bit. I think I drew a total of 3 stills for each character. And you can take a look at the keyframes I made over here. And again, I had more OCs on these repeating segments over here. And at this point, my ibis paint started crashing on me. So like, I lost like the majority of my footage. For some reason, every time I would record, it would crash on me. Like, what is this recording? It's entirely black. It's like 50 minutes of just black screen. I think my iPad might be dying, guys. It's over. But I managed to save some of the recording. Unfortunately, I can't cover the typography bit and like the final touches. For this next bit, I thought it'd be funny to include a diamond hoe from Minecraft and then have it explode. Now at this point, we're basically about 80% done with the animatic. Now when I say 80% done, I mean 80% done with the animating bit. I still need to add the text and the special effects afterwards. And do you want to guess how long this animation took? It took me about 3 weeks to complete. And I really wanted this video to be out before August ends, so I was basically animating every day. I genuinely don't know why it took so long, but yeah. Most of my footage was lost, but I included way more OCs. I actually overshot the goal of 10 OCs in the animatic. There's like 15 or 20 of you there. I tried my best to sneak as many of you in the animatic meme. Also, I took really long to find the perfect font for this animation meme, and I've spent an unnecessary amount of time trying to make sure the colors pop. And you know what? I'm keeping the rest a surprise. If you want to see the final result, I have the video linked. And again, this video has 2 parts. I'm animating you guys again in the next video. And currently, as I'm recording this, I am at 85k subscribers, which is crazy. You guys are crazy. If you guys like these animation type videos, I would love to do more. So please tell me in the comments if you like this content. Anyways, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in part 2.